You are watching a master at work.
Imagine if I went live and I was just holding a pair of legs. Oh, hi guys, how you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this. Sam Prentice back once again. This is called a pain in the AMS. And the problem I've got at the moment with this AMS system from Bambu Labs is that slot 1, for some bizarre reason, just doesn't work anymore. So I hope you're well anyway. We're going to go through this. We're going to try and test it out. I've got a second AMS here as well. So if we just need to proof this completely off this system onto something completely different, then we can do that as well. I'm hoping that there's a few of you joining us already. And if you've got any comments, any questions, any advice to try and get this working, hopefully we can sort all that out. So hopefully this is all working. Let me just check the chat. Hello, everybody. Hope you are well. Let me have a look at the comments here. Oh, look at that. Hello, Jerry. Hello, Tripod. Who have we got? More Tripod, Matt German. Oh, we got Phil. Hello, hello, hello. There you go. So things have been going really well, actually. Bambu Lab stuff is really good. P1Ps that I've got over the other side of the building here have been printing a variety of bits and pieces out over the last couple of days. This is Polymaker Poly Smooth. This is going to be a pit droid that I'm working on. Getting ready for a couple of Star Wars things that are certainly taking place. And of course, we've got the Vader helmet here, which was printed on the Elegoo, which is just down on the floor here, which is the Neptune 3 Max, which again has come out fantastically. So anyway, let's move swiftly on. Who have we got here? How big are your balls, mate? Wow. Okay. Slot 1 is broken. Okay, right. Interesting. Okay, so let's go over to one of the cameras over here and I'll show you exactly what's going on. Generally with the AMS system, what you do when you plug all these in, these lights come on, they pulse. It's what they call a breathe, apparently. For some reason on slot 1, that's just not happening. And the way we can see that, and if I just select that on the Bambu Labs parts here, give me 2 seconds. So if you can see that, hopefully you can, I can basically purge each one of these and just give it a little nod. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Or sorry, 2, 3, and 4 are working. But when I try and do slot 1, nothing at all happens in here. And it's funny because before I came live, I was like, don't tell me this is going to work. It was one of those things where you're almost kind of like thinking, please don't just work. And it was just a stupid mistake. Now, what I did notice, and it's interesting, is when you take something out of the normal environment, because if you don't already know, I've moved from one place to somewhere completely different. I'm in this new studio and I'm just looking over there because it looks like I might have a battery going low on that camera. So if it cuts out, I'll have to change it. But it looks like from this angle that one of the yellow parts on here, and I'll see if we can pick it up on the camera here. You might not say, you definitely won't see it. There's a part on, there's a yellow part just here on AMS slot 1, which is kind of up, which is kind of interesting because none of those have got that on the other one. So potentially it could be quite an easy fix. I've done a bunch of tests before the stream started today. Hey, Jim, how are you? Wow, look at that. Yeah, I'm doing a live. Crazy, right? If you don't already know, Jim at the edge of desk, there's a little sticker on the edge of the desk there. It doesn't get hit the cup very often, unfortunately. But we're going to have to basically take this AMS to bits. And in order to do that, we're going to remove some of these filaments. But from what I can see here, it's completely dead. I'll give you an example of what happened. So the other 3 slots have always worked. 2, 3, and 4 have always just worked. Number 1 started being a little bit problematic, wasn't feeding properly. So I was checking things like the piping, making sure that it was flowing properly. It seemed to be okay. But for one reason or another, again, I started getting red flashes on here. And people were saying to me, it's probably got a bit of filament stuck in there. And if you look at Grant from 3D Musketeer, he had that exact issue where a piece of filament basically got caught up inside the AMS. And once he got rid of that, I think he's had other issues since, but I believe he was able to print after that particular point. So what I'm going to do is take this to bits and see what I can fathom out on this. As I say, this gearing element here looks quite interesting to me, and I think that possibly could be the cause. And it's one of those things that I've only just seen, but I don't know how I'm going to fix that because it's kind of inside a casing, so I might have to take that apart. So there you go. Right, so we'll crack on then. So to take this apart, and by the way, I did reach out to support, and support did come back to me. I know Bambu Labs may or may not be watching this, or may watch this later. They watched the last stream where I unboxed the P1Ps. And I had someone reach out to me and say that they were concerned that I wasn't getting support, and that I'd said that on the stream. I was getting support, but the problem that I've had is that I haven't had the time to go back on those support tickets and say, this has now been rectified, et cetera, et cetera. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to unplug this from the back, and I'm also going to release the PTFE tube as well, just so we're not going to have too many issues, I hope. Let's move this down. There we go. So there's 2 screws inside of this. Just have a look at the chat there. And the way we release this is by pulling this up. There's a little catch on here. Sometimes it does catch. We can just pull that out. Now, on the back of this, there are a couple of cables here that will need to be disconnected. And all we do is just basically pull those out. 1 and 2. Hey, Jim, you actually get to see a proper live stream and be shown how it's done, right? None of this shady stuff that you do. Right, I'm going to put that down on the floor. So on the back of the AMS here, as things start going flying here, you have 4 feeders here, and basically it comes from the AMS slots 1, 2, 3, and 4, comes through to here, and then it pops it out the back. Inside of here is basically, and that basically sorts out. There's little magnets, I think, inside of here, these kind of curious little things. But what you can see, and if you get an issue where perhaps there's a blockage, you might see that the filament's actually stuck inside of there, obviously depending on the color and stuff. But I can certainly see that there was nothing going on inside of these bits. So yeah, what I'll do actually, yeah, you can see that quite clearly actually. Let me run around to camera 1, 2 seconds. So hopefully you can see this. Look at that zoomed in. Hopefully you can see that. Now, if you look here, you'll see that for some reason that is kind of up in the air, but the others are kind of down. It's probably maybe 20 degrees. The rest of them are all kind of pointing sort of to the left-hand side, and that's this one here for whatever reason sort of pointing upwards. I wouldn't expect that normally to be like that. But again, we've got another AMS system here, and looking at it, they're all the same. They're all the same as these 3 here. So I'm thinking perhaps that's the issue. The next issue is, how do I get these things out? How do we take these apart? You like that, right? Okay. I sort of want to get in there with an Allen key and see if I can push it back. See if we can push this. Oh, hello. Okay. Don't tell me that's the fix. Please don't tell me that's the fix, that I can just push this down and it goes back to normal. There is some crud in there as well. That's really weird. Okay, that seems to be moving quite freely there. I don't know if it's supposed to. Please tell me that that's not the fix. Please. Thanks, guys. I don't know if you saw my video that I put out yesterday, which is about 3D printing scams. It's taken off actually in quite a big way. I was quite impressed with the numbers on waking up this morning. Basically, there was a scammer online. There's a thing doing a postage scam. And the idea of this scam is you get a printer for free, or that's the premise anyway. You're going to get this printer for free, but the harsh reality is all you're doing really is paying them $72 for postage, and the money and the printers and all the stuff they're suggesting you will get, you will never see again. So that was what the video was about. We caught someone out. I did a little video with Creality there, and those guys were superb actually at working with me on that. Can't thank them enough actually. It was a really good video, and I've got a lot of good support off the back of it. Lots of people saying lots of positive things, which of course is fabulous. Right, so here's the tricky part, and that is putting the AMS back in. And only because of these cables, they're a little bit tricky to sort of maneuver in and out. But that's what's inside of it in any case. Squeeze that down here. If you haven't seen what's inside of the AMS system, that's basically it. It's a bit like being plugged into the Matrix, I guess. There's 10 sensors inside of here. I believe there's a sensor for moisture, and the rest of the sensors are going to be around about the calibration on how it feeds and where the filament's going and if it's been detected and all that kind of crazy stuff, which is probably why there's those issues. But I'm going to plug it back in now because, again, I really hope that was the issue. I thought there was maybe a dead motor or something in there. So if it's just that was out of alignment and it's a piece of plastic, that's a super, super easy fix. In which case I can get on with my merry little way and get on with some more 3D printing in different colors. Let's have a look down here. Oh, this is fiddly. Now I feel like Jim. Fiddly diddly. Come on, here you go. I can imagine Bambu Labs thinking, yeah, we should have made that a little bit more easily accessible for morons. It's not going, doesn't like it. Let's get myself right over the top of it so we can see what's going on. Here we go. There we go. Plug him in. Do for this, I'll push that down. There we go. I'll not plug I'll just turn the printer off as well. I'll not put the screws back in on this for the moment. And obviously we're looking at AMS 1, so I'm just going to pop this back in and that one back in. What you'll find when you do a start on this, when you hit the power button, you should then see some testing that happens with the printer, certainly with the AMSs. So let's just see what happens. Sorry if that flickered there. Okay, so we've got 4 lights now, which is now going to be going through the test sequence. Really hope it's something more sinister than just one little cog that was out of alignment. Can't believe it could be that simple. You never know. Okay, so let's pop him in. Move this round to the front. It's going to be a very short stream if that is the case. So that light's gone off now. Okay. So normally what will happen is when you plug these in, they should start taking it. Let's have a look on AMS 2. Yeah, thanks, Jim. Jim, when are we having our meeting? So there you go. So AMS 2, you can see that there. It takes it straight away. It does the backwards and forwards motion for a moment. Okay, it's taking it in now, and it's going to come up to around just past here on the cutter, and then retracts. Okay, so let's try AMS 1 again. Again, this is the problem that I've been having. Even with that gearing downwards now, it's just not doing anything. It's just not seeing it. It's just not doing anything. Video is blurry, is it? Okay, let's see this weekend. Hey, it is the weekend. Mate, you don't need to wear anything you don't want to wear. I've told you this before. Okay, let me go into the AMS setting on the printer and see if we can load. It's not even giving me. So this is weird. So even on my, let's go over to camera 2. See if we can show you this. Whoa, look at that. Yes, we got tech, baby. We got tech. So even on AMS 2, if I go into the settings here, it's not allowing me to do any selection on there. on the app, but it is allowing me to do it. Oh, that's really weird. Okay, that's interesting. Here we go. Here we go. What's going to happen? That's so strange. Okay. AMS, where are you? It's not seeing anything on the app. Nothing. Don't, honestly, you don't know some of the struggles that I've got right now for internet bandwidth. Savage. Okay. So again, let's try and reload this. Nothing. Okay, it's trying to load in number 3. That's number 1. Nothing. Nothing on number 1 whatsoever. Okay. So it took it in that time. Weirdly, though, what it was doing before, it was erroring. So you'd get a red light on here. But it's just not taking the filament. Nothing. So let's grab another, just to show you, just to give you the benefit of the doubt here. If I pop some filament into slot 4, as soon as I put it in, it should then start taking it. There you go. That's how it's supposed to work, right? So that gearing, interestingly enough, that flicks up when it's taking the filament in. And then it flips back down. There you go. So my filament in slot number 1, again, that thing's gone back up in the air again. So does that mean I've got a broken gear? Let's try and get a Allen key back in there again, because it's come back up. Push it back down. Really hard to see in there as well. Okay, let's try again. See if we can get this to feed. It's just nothing. Nothing. Nada. But, oh, Jim, you're a beautiful man. See, taking your clothes off for me on live streams did help after all, didn't it? Is that my, oh no. Thanks, mate, for some bandwidth. I literally just read that. Yeah, the funny thing is with that, Phil, is that if you've had one of these apart, you can't really do that. What I could do is I could physically take that out, like physically, and move it from point to point. But I think it's going to be a lot of work to get that out. Let's have a look. Let's have a quick look. Oh, for some pants. $10 for some pants, tripod. You're a beautiful man. You know I don't wear pants. I've stayed at your house. Okay, let's take this out again. Let's power him down and undo this one again. So what do you guys think this could be? Are we kind of convinced that it's going to be this slot 1 that's perhaps a bit iffy? Because taking this whole thing apart to prove it off of one slot is just something I don't really want to do, to be completely honest with you. If I had a spare motor, then that wouldn't be so bad. It does look like, it's weird. It looks like there's a little bit of filament inside of there. How do we take this out? Okay, so there's a couple of, it does say void. It does say void if removed. Let's void the warranty then, shall we? See what happens. Okay, so let's have a closer look at slot 1. What's going on now? Oh my God. For tripod's extra pank leg that he's not using. Thank you so much. You think I'm not grateful? I really am grateful. What have we got here? Oh, that's nice, Jerry. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. Yeah, John, what happens with that? Do you just sew it up? What happens with that extra pant leg? Now really curious. Not curious that I want to see it in person, but just curious in general. Gosh, this has been a stream worthwhile, hasn't it? Look at that. Right, so we're taking a couple of these screws out so far, and I'm guessing then it's going to be another 2 screws down here. See, to get to the others on here, to get to 2, 3, and 4, because the board's in the way, I guess the board has to be taken out. Oh no, okay, I can get to 2 actually, pretty easily. So one of my Facebook colleagues is now on the Bambu Labs support desk. So he's given me a couple of ideas on perhaps what it could be, but they were mainly around blockages inside of the pipework here. I blew that all through, and I was pretty confident that it wasn't going to be that. But the errors, the other thing as well, on top of all this, is that we had an update that happened just before I went live. So I quickly updated the firmware on the AMS. Let's see if that's going to come out now. Okay, so we've got this little gear here. Oh, look at that. Hey, that comes out pretty damn easy. Has anybody else had to take one of these out? Folded and tucked. Wow. I thought you were going to tell us some elaborate story about how your wife has to sew the hole up. Let's try and get... That's tight in there, man. Jesus. Let's try and get this pushed out, if we can. Come on. So the PTFE tube is well and truly in there. Let's get something on there. Should we pull that out? Nope. That is really tight in there. All right, what we'll do then is we'll take it out the other end, just like that. Then we've got some sensors plugged in here. Then we've got 2 sensors plugged in, one of which is glued in. So let's have a look and see if we can unplug that as one. There you go. Look at that. There you go. Happy days. And that eventually will come out, I think, possibly. So in the bottom of this, these sensors are actually glued on. So you'd have to unplug it from the main board. You couldn't just do that from a... This is really interesting. But it doesn't look like there's anything broken. There's a bit of like yellow plastic in there. So there might be something that's snapped, potentially. But what we're testing for here now, of course, is it the motor that's gone? That's cool. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do then, let's take out slot 4, because we know that was good. And see how we go with that, I suppose. This is riveting stuff. Here we go. So to take out these little motors, it's 4 screws to physically remove them. I think the replacements on these are, I think they're around $35, $40, I think. But of course, this should be under warranty if I hadn't have removed the void if removed parts. But hey, we're doing a process here, process of elimination. So we shall see what Bambu comes up with. I've noticed recently there's been seemingly like quite an increase on AMS slot 1 issues. I don't know if I'm being extra sensitive to it because I've got the same issue. or what, but there does seem to be. I think Denise had an issue. There's been a few people online that I've seen on the Bambu groups that have had the same issue as well. Here we go. Hey, I tell you what, that ain't half bad. So that's our slot 4. We're going to put that into our slot 1 now. Riveting stuff. Riveting stuff. Hey, you know what? That's super easy to change out should you need to. Absolutely, you're quite right. I mean, it is an overused probably slot on the AMS, and I totally agree with that. I know I was very guilty of using that all the time, just when printing normal prints. That's one of the reasons that we got the P1Ps in, actually, because I just wanted those for basic single colors. What's this? I think my mate's going bad after 2 weeks of work. Doesn't retract far enough. That's interesting. Yeah, as I say, I mean, I think I really love the product. I can't tell you how much I absolutely adore the product here. But at the same time, you know, they are going to have some teething issues. And those teething issues might be that actually the AMS gets updated at some point. Who knows? I think slot 1 should have been a beefier motor. Or, yeah, it could be. Yeah, okay. Okay, and the 4th screw is now going in. Donk. One and done. Need a close-up camera. I need to see what's going on. Okay. Well, would you like me to get up on a ladder and zoom in on that camera? Because I can do that. Hey, you know what? I'll do it now. Right, let's just move some things around. Hopefully you can see this a little bit better now. Okay, so this is our slot 1. Hopefully you can, is that too far in now? I bet it is. Right, so this was our original slot 1 on the AMS, which we've taken out, and we are blurry as hell now. That's annoying. Bear with me. Let's get some focus on this. It's even worse. Bear with me, guys. Is that a bit better? No, that's still dreadful, isn't it? Wow. And it's moving about. That's annoying. Okay. What I can do is essentially move another camera around. We'll rid ourselves of that one for a moment. We'll go over to number 2. Okay, so this is our original slot number 1. Hopefully you can see that. And again, we don't know yet if this is faulty, but what we have done is is we've taken out number 4, which was here, and replaced it with into number 1. Just going to wire that back up again by plugging in this little plug. Hopefully you can see that. It goes in the right way. There we go. And thanks, other Jim, for that suggestion. Just so you know, I have only been in this studio for a couple of weeks, and I haven't got everything set up quite the way I want it yet. But thanks for the suggestion there. I will make sure we've got more cameras covering more views in the future. Okay, so what we're going to do now is put the original slot 1 into slot 4, and then we can try and prove it off one way or another exactly what that is. Out. There we go. Okay, so on here again, we've got 4 screws as everything just falls out. The guts have fallen out of it. Try and keep still for you. Let me see if I can get a better. I don't know if that's any better. Okay, so we'll plug this back in now. Okay. Screw these back in. Now, as usual, obviously we are working with plastic here, so screwing screws into plastic, just be very, very careful. You won't get that kind of advice on the Edge of Tech. Also, Jim, Edge of Tech, did you get the BQ working in the end? How did that go on? So surprisingly, with this AMS system, it's actually a lot easier to work on than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be a menagerie of all sorts of crazy bits and pieces, but no, it seems to be, so far, I say that, we might get blue smoke, who knows? That sounds like a no. Oh dear. If only I could tell. I will tell you exactly what's going on. So we use Starlink where I am, okay? And he hasn't touched it since. You see, that's interesting because I thought you're the kind of guy, Jim, that does touch things more than once. Don't read into that too far. Yeah, we've got Jerry coming up later. Have I? Mail. Oh, God. Oh, dear. You say I've got mail. I don't see it. I hope it's not a picture of you and you're just in your underpants. I don't see any mail. All right, yeah, so where was I at? Okay. So I was talking about Starlink, and Starlink is actually amazing. It's super. But because I am between offices at the moment, we haven't moved Starlink across yet. So we're kind of using this barbaric SIM card style setup at the moment, which is why it's so bad. But normally I don't live stream. It's very rare that I live stream, but I'm trying to start up this kind of Saturday session thing around this kind of time. It might not be every week, but if we can get it going at least a couple of times a month, then I'd be quite happy with that. And basically the idea is just to capture stuff that I'm doing in the studio anyway. So I'm building a Voron. I've got some amazing new parts coming for the rat rig, which are to coin the phrase from Jim at the Edge of Tech, they're going to be phenomenal, man. They're phenomenal. Oh, I see. Of course it was. You've got mutt. You've got mail. You've got mail. Right, let's tuck these cables back in. So as I was saying, anyway, you've got this contraption in here. I believe these have got some assortments of magnets inside of them. You've got a spring inside of here, another motor. So you've got 4 motors here, another motor at the back, and then obviously you've then got the stepper motor then on top of that inside the AMS system. These parts here are for your moisture absorbance. And again, we've got some cables. Weird, we've got a ferrite coil here. That's really quite interesting. And again, we've got more sensors at the back here, etc., etc. Now, the good news is, and we'll go back to camera 1 for this one, shall we? The good news is that we are back and things are together. Just going to check all the cables. Unlike most Chinese products, these are not glued to within an inch of their lives. So now then we have slot 4 on slot 1 and slot 1 on slot 4. So what should happen if we're going to prove it off of this particular device is that slot 1 should work, but slot 4 should not work. So we shall see how that works in a moment. We're just going to plug these things back on. These are those little problematic feeders. There we go. Maybe next week you might see that I've got a succulent plant in here. I've been looking for one. I'm seeing major scope for Bambu Labs doing a heated enclosure for this thing. It just needs to be done. 100% needs to be done. The other thing, of course, will be that if I plug all this in and nothing works, in which case, fear not, because we've got another AMS. But yeah, whatever. I don't want to have to use that one unless it's to insert another 4 colors into this. So inside of here, we've got another 2 plugs, one on the left, one on the right. That goes to the backboard. I guess that's for the 6-way plugs that you plug into from this into your printer. And that then controls all the sensors and all the other bits and bobs inside of that. As I was saying, surprisingly easy to work on, actually. I thought it was going to be... I had a look at it when I was at the house with this, and I was like, oh, God, I just don't even want to touch it. But I think once you've got yourself a good desk, Jim, and it's not moving around and jumping about all over the place, I think we're good. What's this say here? Jerry, the Russian apprentice. Bambu should allow me to switch to third spool on the fly if one is having issues. Well, that's not a bad idea. Now, the thing is with that, though, Jerry, is that they do have, if you've got the color loaded in a different slot and you essentially allow it to run out of filament by maybe cutting it or whatever, it should then jump onto the next color. Food for thought. Maybe some grade. Fusion generic PMA makes, okay, yeah, fair enough. So Jim is going to come to Six Flags with his family when we go back out to America again. So I'm looking forward to that. Happy days. We'll switch the printer off so we can plug this one back in. I'm actually sort of half excited that what if this all just works? What if? Okay, so let's plug that one back in again. Now, as I said before, and if we go over to camera 2, let's move the poop bin out of the way. We spin this around a little bit more. What we should see is when we switch this on, we should start seeing some pulsing of those 4 lights. There you go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, of course, these AMS feeders are generic, so you can just swap those out. In fact, what the names of them are actually called, I don't know, because I've not researched that. But what I can do is search on the interweb right now and see what's available and find out that it's actually called, someone's probably going to get there before I do, what with my AOL dial-up 56K modem, accessories, and extruder and parts. Extruders and parts. Okay, hardened steel assembly gear. That's interesting. AMS and parts. Here we go. And it's called an AMS first stage feeder. They are £32 and 99 pence in Great British currency. What's this? That's an AMS option you have to turn on. If it's not the same color, it will switch. There you go. What Jim said. I'll tell you what I have on the P1P Jim. I have installed the cameras into them, which are pretty good. But I can't see it remotely now due to the LAN upgrade that they did. So I don't know what the crack is with that, but some advice on that would be great. So here we go then. So we've got slot 1, and let's see what happens when we pop it in. Oh, it's taking it. Oh, it stopped taking it. Come on, baby. You can take it. You can take it. See, that's really struggling. I'm wondering. Oh, okay. That's really interesting. I'm wondering what is going on with that. That is, that's just in there. I'm going to pull that. Yeah, that's really pushing the motor there. So I'm wondering if that is the issue or not. Cool. Let's pull him out. Let's pull him out. Man down, man down. Let's pull him out. All right, let's put it into 4. Because that might be something else then, if that's not going to... No, it's not taking that. Doesn't like that. Let's try some different filament in slot 1. See what happens now. Ready? Yep. So we're getting so far, and then it's just stopping. See that? It's not even gripping it. Whoa, that's so weird. It sounds like me when I get out of bed in the morning. Okay, let's push that back in. Let's pull him back out again. Okay, let's try again. So we're probably feeding, I would say, up until where the middle is. Let's try and remove this. Let's take this out. See if we're able to reload this. Yeah, but it works. It can't be the roller motor because it works on the other slots. Let's have another go. Here we go again. Ready? That's so weird. So let's work out how far it's actually taking that in. Hang on. Yes, I mean, if we take it from there, that's basically taking that. We can see it. Here we go. That's basically taking this much filament and running it from point to point. So let's undo this again. The PDFE tube is clogged, man. That's gnarly. Okay, we're going to look at that. See, the weird thing about that is, though, how can that be clogged? It doesn't make any sense. It really makes no sense. So, okay, let's take this apart. Let's have a look from that slot. Okay, let's have a look then. Let's unplug it first. There you go. Okay, so pull him around here. I'm going to try and not undo the cables on the back of this time. Push that in, pull it back. Okay, so we're on slot 1, right? So let's see. Okay, we're going to have to undo it. It's not going to come out otherwise. So slot 1, right here. You reckon there's something in that, do you? And of course, we measured this. So from point to point, I think it's literally mean, I would say it's probably failing. I don't know what you guys think. I would say it's failing at this mechanism here. So let's put this on the floor. Go back to that camera, because this camera's still blurry, right? Oh, no, it's not too bad. No, it's still blurry. We'll run back to that one. So slot 1 here, and we're coming up to about here, right? And we know that because the filament that I've got here, if we feed him in with nothing in him, okay, we know that that is basically getting to that point, right? Is that fair? Don't know what language that was then. You can push it out manually. Yeah, okay, so that's what we're doing. So we can push it through to here, okay? So that's one test. Then the next bit is going to be this part here, which is the selector, okay? So if we push that into here, it should, if we push this down, right, pop out. Hello. So there's nothing in there. Nothing in there, bub. Nothing in there at all. All right? Does everybody agree? Give me a thumbs up or something. Let me know that you agree with that. Because I'm able to push that in manually. So from slot 1, we're able to push that in manually. We know already that slot 4 now is problematic. But we should have slot 1 now working, right? Slot 1. But for some reason, there's something going on. Yeah, we agreeing with that? Okay, Phil agrees. Yeah. Okay, cool. So here's the thing, right? So we're feeding from slot 1 to this point here. Zoom back in again. We've got the camera for it. Why not? So we're coming out of slot 1 here, and we're getting to this little mechanism here. Now, I know, because I've seen this taken apart, there's a load of like weird selector bits and pieces in here, but we've just shown that if I take this out, we can feed filament once it's been selected. As this is pushed, we can feed that through here, yeah? That's fair enough, isn't it? Jim, how do you feel about this? If we do it into slot 2, we're going to do the same thing, right? I'll be able to feed it out. Yes, we are. So there's nothing in there that's stopping that, as far as I'm concerned, unless, for whatever reason, okay, one, the motor is not man enough in slot 1 now, although it should be, but this makes sense, doesn't it? Because if you're going to get motor burnout on what's now slot 4, if you were originally going to get motor burnout on slot 1, that possibly would have caused the issue. Backwards and forwards. Lots of issues with that. In addition to that, this cable has come off from somewhere. What's that come off of? Or is that our original cable for... Yes, it is. It is. Okay. No, that's fine. Just going mad for a second there because I'm just trying to work it out in my head. So the selector, it could be that. Right. Let's have a look. See what people are saying. I had a similar problem. I had to have it where... fed into. Oh, you really? Okay, that's interesting. Thanks, Gene. I do think it's going to be this. Honestly, I think it's going to be this selector and now the motor in slot 4, which is dead. Jonathan loves it. All needs to be checked. If you swap the motor from slot 4 to slot 1, that's the thing though, Jim. We've swapped the entire slot 1 and slot 4 over. Okay, so slot 4 no longer feeds. Slot 1 feeds, but it stops when we get to this point here. Or are you talking about this motor here? Oh my God, this is cutting edge stuff. It's so exciting. Right. Okay, so we know this is clear now, right? So are we saying, so if I plug it all back in now, right, and it works, we know that's definitely clear. If there was a tiny bit of something in there, it would have been pushed out now because we've cleared the PTFE tube using another piece of filament. We've also cleared the selector here. I'm trying to work it out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments because, you know, until it can't, I mean, when this moves, that's the secondary feeder, isn't it? And that definitely works because we know in slots 2 and 3 previously that worked okay. it's going to have to be this bit. Surely it's going to have to be this bit. And I know there's a concoction of magnets and stuff inside of here that I think if I take it to bits, it's going to pop out and blow up all over the place. Let's have a look. Time to take the working AMS and swap out the filament selector. Oh man, I can't do that. I just really don't want to do that. That is like, oh God. The thing is with that, as you know, it's a bit like saying, can you imagine if this was a car, right? And you say, hey, you know what? There's a part of the engine, I don't know, the oil pump. Potentially it could be the oil pump. And we're going to swap the entire engine out because it might be the oil pump. That's kind of how that feels. Oh, God. That's, I mean, you're right. I mean, it would tell you, wouldn't it? It categorically would tell you if it's this selector. But then I'm then voiding the warranty on another working, potentially. I haven't tested it. I haven't even had it out of the box. It literally came out of the box today. Wonder if it's worth checking the other two. Yes, we did that. So we did slot 2. I can do slot 3. It's not a problem. So again, when you push this down, that's essentially what this does. There's a little selector here. So you push it into here, that then engages, and then the filament comes out. Yeah. And of course, we'll try it again. We'll do slot 4 as well because we can. I think in hindsight to all this, it's going to be this bit here that's potentially, like Gene had, I think we've got the same issue. There it is. So all good, it's going out. I mean, the other option, I guess, John, is that I take this bit to bits. It's a bit like, oh God, I can't even think of what it's like. It's like there's so much, like I think there's magnets inside of there. So when it detects it, it knocks things back. When the filament is pushed, it pushes a little rod back. Yeah, it's unable to move across. Hey, you foxy devil. Hello, James. Got it. Okay. You opened it. Oh, no. It's just savage, though, isn't it? Oh, my God. This is depressing. So depressing. So depressing. How many screws is it? I mean, is the motor part of that as well? The motor. Yeah, the thing is, John, right? Oh, my God. Because the motor is... Okay, no, it's not. You can take that out. You can take that out. So it's 4 screws, essentially. All right, so let's plug this back into the AMS system again. Oh, it's good fun. I love it when people come on and they say, you know what I want? I just want a printer that works. I'm not going to have any issues with it. Yeah, but it's a machine. It's a tool. You're going to need to service it and, you know, make sure that it feels happy and, you know, it's got feelings and stuff. And they say, no, I just want it to work. And unfortunately, friends, the tale of the tape here is that things are never simple. Unfortunately, that's life. James will tell you. He knows. Right, so I'm not going to put the screws back in here. But I'm glad to say, for probably the first time in my life, that I've actually put something back together and not had any screws left over, apart from the 2 that are obviously there. So let's switch this bugger back off again then and plug him on back in. Let's plug him in. Deep breath in and out. Plug him back on again. Here we go. What did you break? Hang on a second. Swap out. Filament selector and motor 4. So what we've got here, James, is AMS slot 1 is not working, okay? It's not feeding correctly. So what we've done is we've swapped over AMS 1 and 4, and 4 is now not working. The problem with AMS 1 now, though, is that when it gets to the 4-barrel selector, it's going, nah, sling your hook. So there's obviously some issue there, but the motor really struggles to get to that point. So it could have been a blocked PTFE tube. We've looked at that. It's not that. So it's getting to that point. And inside of that 4-pronged thing, basically when the filament comes up, it pushes what is kind of like, it's like a metal point that basically pushes that, and it allows it to travel through. And I think that's part of a sensor that says, yeah, you can carry on traveling through. And of course, when your filament runs out, which is this end, I believe, that's where, I don't know. I didn't design the thing, did I? You know what? I'm glad. Do you even use it, though? Hang on a minute. You were messaging me for tech support the other day. What a bugger. Open up the selector hub. Somebody's got to do it. Oh, Jim. Throw me under the bus. Wow. This is why people tune in, though, Jim. It's raw emotion. Just saying. You need to print out a lot of them. You guys are savage. I'm glad that you've paid me to be here. My work for 2 weeks, done a firmware update today and started having issues. Well, this is the funny thing, actually. Oh, okay. 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 I thought today I was going to do that software upgrade and it was just going to work. And I'm just going to be like, oh, what a stream. But I'm sort of glad. Yeah, I know that was the rat rig. You sausage. You buggers. Yeah, you do have to do. In fact, it doesn't count. Okay. I tell you what, rat rig news, by the way, I've got some really, really cool stuff coming in for that. Cannot wait to show you that. I got an email a couple of days ago. Amazing. Amazing. I'll give you a clue. That's the clue. Put that up there. Right. We're plugged in. We're switched on. We're going to try and get the AMS 1 to feed again. Are you ready? We're flashing our lights. James. Use a cold plate for 2 days. You know what? I haven't even used. It's all good fun. Can't wait to do. I can't wait to see it. And obviously, I'm going to be away. Hang on, we'll go back to the other camera. Here we go. I'm going to be away, but I'm going to try and see what you guys are up to there. See what I can. Is it going to do anything? Let's go back to camera 2. Come on, baby. What's this say here? We went up with the problem is, just don't want to tell you. Oh, thanks, mate. That's awesome. I bet you were that really helpful kid at school. I hope you're a teacher. Sounds like, where you go. The real 2, right, mate. Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to select it on the screen. See what happens. AMS, slot 1. Oh, we're run. See, there we go. We're doing it again. It's literally when we get to that point. Oh, let's take it apart. Yeah, let's take it apart. Let's see what happens. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're just going to take it apart. I really, really, really don't want to ruin another AMS. So I just cannot strip the other AMS down to get that one part out. Although maybe it would be easier. Oh, God. We've done that already. Oh, God. There's a lot of crying here, man. There's a lot of crying. It really grinds my gears. It grinds my gears, Nick. Oh, hey, Jerry. You guys just having a quick chat? I'm struggling here. Ah, dear. Got Peter Griffin here now. Okay. How long have we been streaming for? 1 hour exactly. 26 watchers. Don't forget to like and consider subscribing if you like what you see. Next time I might be wearing a Honey Badger 3D printing hoodie, generously donated to me in a competition by James. Right then, here we go. Are you ready? Pin your ears back because we are about to make this happen. So this is the selector. I don't know if it's really called the selector, but that's certainly what I'm going to call it because on the account of it selecting things. Oh, how short do you have to make that? Oh, that's that hurts. That burns me, dude. That just burns me. Well, the good news is at least my studio doesn't have like a cloth hanging up in the background off my bed. Anyway, sorry. Where was I? I digress for a second there. All right, let's undo these 4 doofers. Now, I can't remember from looking at the video if this all just kind of falls apart in your hand or not. I'm sure that the Bambu Labs guys have put this together in such a way that it makes complete sense to a multiple and talented, skilled engineer that that is the right camera up there, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay. Where's the other screw? There it is. Oh dear. I can just imagine it now. Well, Mr. Prentice, unfortunately, we watched your stream and we saw you take it to bits. And it'd be a bit like that George McFly moment where he gets sacked and for, what was it, money laundering or betting or something? Something weird like that, wasn't it? The jits to come on and tell me off. Okay, so... Whoa. So I really want to do this. I should have just stayed in bed. Oh my God. So there is a lot of cabling and bits and pieces here that I physically can't unplug because it's all glued. So shall I pick the glue off? What's the common denominator here, guys? Shall I unplug it from the cables at the back here and struggle to death with it, or shall I just pick the glue off and try that? Let me know what you think in the comments. The bedsheet is a family heirloom. I thought maybe Matt gave it to you as a best man gift. So the best house long. So yeah, okay, that's going to happen. Literally, Phil, that is going to happen. I have one, dude. I have one. Let me show you. There it is, right there. Look at that. Don't you see me with me undergarments down? Here we go. Let's zoom back in on this. There we are. Pop, goes the weasel. Most amount of excitement I've had all day, that. Let's have a look here. What are we suggesting? I would pick the glue off. Okay. Struggle is the only way to do it. It is a nice decal. One thing you should always do is also remember with decals is to take the backing plastic off. I'm going to pick the glue off here though. That is really on there. I just don't want to break the sensor. Sorry, Mr. Prentice, but you broke it because you picked all the glue off in the wrong way. That is really, really stuck on there. Oh, there it is. It comes out nicely though. Okay, there we go. So that's one. Try and not get all this confused with what they're not. And then we've got one on the back here. Which, again, let's pick some glue off of it. Oh, that came out easy. Look at that. Donk. Thank you very much. Let's pick all that out. And then finally, do you reckon that comes off the motor? We're about to find out. Well, I don't know if that comes out. It must do, otherwise why would they glue it? Let's get some snippies on it. You need a honey badger bed sheet. I do, don't I? Here we go. Gene, you were the man. Okay. Yeah, that is my biggest fear. My biggest fear right now is that one thing. That and are you sure this comes off? Because I don't know if it does. Snip it up. Let's snip up the glue and see what happens. Oh, no, it does come off. Thank God for that. Right, there we are, friends. That's the unit. Let's get rid of that glue. That is the unit right in front of us, right here. Look at that. That is the problematic unit. Let's try and get some more of this glue off now. Okay, so it could just be this, couldn't it? Literally could just be this. There's a lot of plastic gears on this, like a lot of plastic gears. Just making sure there's nothing on here that, oh guys, this is going to be a nightmare. You know when you've got like 6 tiny screws? Oh my word. Okay. Are we really undoing this? Looks like it. Okay, let's this is where it goes everywhere. Oh my God. I've seen this on another video and it wasn't that pretty, to be honest. So if I pull this apart and the whole thing goes everywhere, that's literally me done. Literally. Okay, here we go. So I don't know if this bit is going to allow me to get access to the bits that I need. Let's have a little push and see what happens. No, okay, that's not coming off yet. So I've got 2 more screws to do here. I just wanted to see if that was going to... I really hope this doesn't ping off everywhere. I'm literally going to die. Look at you 25 people watching this stream thinking, it's all about to happen. 1 more screw. I'm a little bit unsure of this now. Well, it's not coming off that easy, is it? I thought this was just going to ping open and springs and stuff were going to go everywhere. But that's not quite what's happened, is it? Okay. Be able to get something in there and give it a... Right, well, that's undone. So, oh, here we go. I got it. Edge of 3D. What are you saying here? More smoke. Okay, yeah, good idea. Yeah. Another good idea. See you later, Jim. Love you. Right, so I'm sure if I ping this up, this is... Okay, so these are... Oh, God. Oh, no, look. Oh, boy. Am I supposed to take this selector off? How does that come off? Okay, so that screw does nothing. I might just have to let this go. It might just have to be one of those days where everything just goes wrong, right? Come on. It was literally just falling apart then. What is going on? pull that down. Oh my word. Maybe tripod was right. Maybe I should just try the other selector. If I get a Bambu, maybe. Yeah, okay, well, yeah. I mean, hopefully you won't have these kind of issues, but I can feel the pressure here. Here we go. I might just have to, oh my God. What? Okay. Oh. All right, okay. So inside of this, that's really weird. Inside of this, we have, I thought there were springs in here. There's not springs in here. So that's interesting. I don't know if you guys can see this. Hopefully you can. So we've got 1, 2, 3 that are in this kind of upward position. Oh, okay. Okay, let's put it back on. We've got 3 that are in the upward position, and this one here, this thing. Okay, so the springs are underneath. That one was in a weird upward position. So let's pop that back in. There we go. Oh no. This is where everything goes wrong. Look, it's stuck to everything. Ah! Oh no. All right, well, that's how it should be, okay? So I'm guessing that's got to go in here somehow. Why is that going up, back and up around the wrong way? See that? I don't know if you guys can see that, but this one here, which I'm guessing is going to be slot 1. Get out of it. It will not sit in there. It's really difficult to get that to, so these are magnets, okay? So it's really difficult to get it to sit just right without it flinging around all over the place. Now got things falling off. This is great. If you want, come on, man, help me out. Do me a favor. Here we go. Here we go. Come on, push, push, push. Oh God, I feel so feeble. Spring is going to leave velocity in any. Yeah, it might do. It may well do that. It may well do that. Yeah. So pushing this back in is the problem right now. So let's try and. We take these out. Let's do that. Okay. So it's really tricky, guys, for me to show you this because it's literally just a stupid magnet. But that's what it is. You can see that. Literally that tiny, tiny little magnet there. All you've got to do, very simply, is just pop that into the groove. But unfortunately, it's so tight in there that it's just popping out. But that was pushed in the upwards position. So to give you I think it's got to be this situation with this magnet where it was pushed up like that. So I reckon that's what's failed in there. But perhaps it won't go back in because maybe it's faulty. I don't know. It's a magnet. How can a magnet go faulty? Use one of your plastic pens. Do you know what, Jim? You are a bloody genius. Where is a plastic pen? Do I have one? Where is the plastic pen? There we go. I've got one here. This is the 4-color AMS plastic pen. It goes 4 colors. It's got red, black, green, and blue. We're going to use that now. Right, let's push that in. See if we can manipulate this round. No, didn't like that. Just wondering if it goes underneath or something. Just isn't liking it. It's just really difficult to get in there. Okay, let's see if we can. We come down the channel like this. If you guys can see that. No, it doesn't. It's so. Like, to put that magnet in there, it's so tight. Let's not throw it away. It's literally millimeter perfection, I think, to get that in there. Very frustrating. I'm sure it's not excellent viewing for you guys. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be inserted from the other side. Once again, then how did it come out? Like, that is so frustrating. It's supposed to be inserted from the other side. Okay, all right, fair enough. Inserting it from the other side means that I have a spring in there, right? So under this circuit board here, there's a spring. So, but that means all four springs are then going to pop out. Wow. Okay, let's try one more go, and then we're going to give it that. We're going to put that all back together. And you know what? Actually, I think I might have a. Let's see if we can do it with this. See if we can jam that little bugger in there. Here we go. Let's see if we can do it with this. It's just not quite allowing me to have the grip to it. At the top. 5 hours later. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right there, mate. That is never going to go in there. I think it's too shallow for it to go in, which is why the other ones aren't going out. So let's leave that out. Let's pop that back together then with these little grommets. And let's see if we can access it from the other side and see if the springs fly everywhere. Either way, though, it would have needed to be taken out that way. Okay, so that's popping back in. That doesn't look like it's quite in where it needs to be. There we go. Right, okay, so let's whack a couple of screws back into that then. If it comes out the way, it should go in there. You are completely right there, Jim. Thanks, guys. Print some tweezers, yes. Yeah, I think Gene's right there. It is supposed to be popped in from the other side. I can't see, I get that it's come out, but that might just be where the compression of the spring is. So if you imagine that perhaps the compression of the spring has pushed it down, it's come up a different direction and it's managed to pop out that way. So rather than it being inserted that way, it might need to have a bit of jiggery pokery, so to speak, in order for that to work. Let's have a look. Was there an issue found? Yeah, the issue has been open. Okay, here we go. Gene's on it. So we're going to open the magnet part slowly. No, you haven't really missed too much, but we know now, John, that we've got to go in the other way. And we've got to open this bit slowly. So let's do that. 1. There we go. 2. I guess if we just rapidly open this, it's going to fling everywhere. So we're just going to do it slowly. According to Gene. Literally, Gene is my new best friend, by the way. Right, where's the magnet? Here it is. Okay, so we're going to slowly open this, and we can feel the magnet. I can feel the magnet's pushing back on it now. Okay, here we go. That's it. All right, gotcha. So let's ping this little spring out like that, and we're going to put that on top here. Put that back in here. Oh, he's a bugger. Look at that. Okay, let's try it. Okay, use the pen. Hold it down. Get the dear little spring out again. Push that down. Okay, so the springs hold it in. Gotcha. Okay. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. So we're back in the right way now, which is good. Pop that back on. Do that sucker back up. And to be fair with you, Gene, I thought that was going to be worse than it actually was. Was that, out of interest, was that the same issue that you had on yours, or was your selector completely written off? What was the setup with that? We've got some messages here. Did I miss something? Howdy all. Hello, Carl. Hope you're well, mate. That says, hi, Honey Badger. Oh, bless you guys. It's hurtful. I did get my hoodie. I tell you what, so I'll give you a little story about the hoodie. I only wear that when I get out of the shower. And I will send James some pictures of it later. So, what else we got here? Where's my hoodie? Blah, blah, blah. See, I won one. That's the difference. So there we go, friends. That should possibly be the fix. Possibly. So let's put these screws back in. The last thing I want to do is not put the screws back in and just totally forget everything. But we've still got, so even if this works, we've still got an issue with motor number 4 because that would have burnt out due to this potential issue, I'm assuming. So I will need to get another motor if that's the case. Or new AMS slot 1. What's this? You win a hoodie. I win a wonderful chocolate printer. Oh, delightful. Oh, I remember you walking around with that. You were very excited from what I remember. I think you had a very cheery grin on your face and you couldn't believe your luck from what I remember. So, friends, that is that bit done. Right, let's grab the AMS system back up again. There he is. And we're going to pop this back together, hopefully. Again, that wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was going to be. I think it could have been a lot worse. I think as well that although that magnet element is a bit of a pain, I think once you know how to do it, I think that's probably the key. Thank you again, Gene, for that. That's awesome. Okay, popping back. Come on, off you get. There you go. We're on screws. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. And one's already still in there. Look at that. Okay. 3 in there. And then 4. He wants to go in. He goes in at a slightly funny angle, but that's okay. We don't judge. Right, so let's get that doofer out. Pop him back in. Just want to make sure that the glue is not going to foul on any electronics here. Also, I don't want to nip any of the plastics. Okay, he's back on. One there. And we've got, oh no, I didn't put the one on the motor back on. God damn. I'm going to have to take that out again. 1, 2. So we've got a few new people here. Welcome along. This is the AMS slot 1 issue that I've been having. We've just taken a load of the AMS system to bits and discovered what the meaty insides actually look like, which includes PTFE tubes, cables, and of course, magnets. So let's whip that out. Didn't put the motor back on first. Should have done that. Schoolboy rookie error. Let's just make sure that's going to go in there nicely. Again, there's quite a lot of glue on this. So I'm a little bit like worried that it's not going to. Come on. There's a lot of glue on this. A hell of a lot of glue. we go. He's back on. There was one more sensor, wasn't there, underneath? Which I think was not that one. Could have been that one. That's too small. That one's got glue on it. That'll be the one then. Pop him back on as well. Right, let's screw this back together. Let's put the PTFE tubes back in. Let's see what we've got after that. Doing things twice lets you demonstrate better. Wow, there you go. Yes, it does. Thank you, Don. Poor quality stream was just, yeah, it might be, Collie. Unfortunately, the broadband here is a little bit bad, and I'm also using StreamYard, the 780p. I was going to do this week. I was going to do this via OBS, but I didn't get it installed onto the computer properly yet, and I don't know how to use it. So I thought rather than doing no stream, I would still do a stream. And of course, I can look to cover this off in another video if that is useful to others. Happy to do that, of course. But the bottom line here is taking it to bits and seeing what fits where. What's the point in tearing it apart if you're doing more harm than good? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry, at what point of tearing it apart? Well, you know, we went through this. There was a moment where there were some few tears, and thankfully John from Tripod's Garage was there to catch those tears in a hanky, and he allowed me to carry on with the stream. So we had a few ups and downs with that. I have got a second AMS system here anyway, so you know, if everything did go wrong, we could have proved other things off. But I just didn't want to take parts off one thing and put it on another. So just to fulfill you, if you've only just joined the stream, the issue was with AMS slot 1. We've changed around slot 4 and slot 1. The problem has moved to slot 4, but there's also a problem on slot 1 feeding out of this little part here. So that main problem we think is probably what's caused the motor to burn out on slot 1, which is now in slot 4. And we're hoping now, if I plug this all back in, I should now have slots 1, 2, 3, but 4 not working. That should probably be where we are at just about now. And if that's the case, then I need to probably speak to Bambu and speak to their support team and see about getting one of these little slots replaced under warranty. Because, you know, I've done all the work here to try and find out what this was all about. Here we go. Oh, there you go. Theodore knows. Good stuff. So there you go. Right. So we've got two things to plug in. The good news is, again, ladies and gentlemen, that I do still have. Oh, no, that's gone off now. That's a shame. Okay, let's go back to that. Like I thought would happen, a battery has died. Bear with me. Bear with me for a moment. Okay, back to number 1, if it's going to work. Yes, it is. There you go. Okay, so we've got 2 screws left. So everything is plugged back in. I'm just going to double check that just to make sure. Yeah, all those parts are plugged in. The motor is there. This is working. That's working. And now we should have enough reach there for these 2 cables to be plugged back into the back of the AMS shell. Fingers crossed here. The other thing is that it might not work at all. So we'll just have to see. Let's plug this one back in. What's this? Ticket submitted. You coming on later, Joe? I'm not sure. I had planned to, but something has come up and I may have to pop out. So we're going to see what that's about. I'm going to make a phone call after the stream and see if I'm going out or if I am not going out. If I'm not going out, then yes, I'll be on the stream. Otherwise, not. So feel free to plug the stream if you wish to. I'm more than welcome to come, mate. Well, is that annoying bloke going to be on there? What's his name? Irish fella, funny accent. You know the one. Right. Let's plug this back in, see what we've got this time. Okay, so that's plug the printer back in. Screen will go black for a second. Did it? Don't know if it did or if it didn't. Okay. Plug this one back in. Now then. The first issue was feeding, right? So slot 1 would not feed past the switcher feeder, which is that thing we just taken to bits. So if I plug this in, here we go. We're up here. We're coming along. Okay, it's now pulling back. That's fine, because that's what it should do. Okay. Let's try slot 4 then, and see if we get any life out of that. Now again, that was originally slot 1, now it's slot 4. We know that there was something going wrong with the motor. It's not doing nothing. You would expect that to feed at that point. Matt's Irish. He looks it. Don't say smoke, you bugger. Right, we're going to try and reselect this then. Let's go slot 4 and see if it's going to load. It's dead. Slot 4 is dead. Dead to the world. Let's try this slot here. Whee. Okay, that seems to be working okay. Oh, hello. Right. Let's go back to slot 2. Loading in. What's this? Everything I do on stream smokes. No. Whoa! We got a wild one. That was wild. That was really wild. Okay, we're good on that one. So it literally is slot number 4 now, and we've already proved that off, that it is 100% going to be that combo setup there. But I'm going to try and see if I can push that forward with the AMS over here. Let's have a look. Well, it's doing something. It's just not loading fully. And we've got a red light now. Okay, so all the other colors are white. Now, normally with the white lights, if you've got a red light, it's obviously an error. If you've got a white light, generally it's either loaded, or if it's pulsing, or they call it breathing, then that means that it's waiting to accept filament. If you've got a red sensor, that is the fact that that is broken. So I'm pretty happy with that. I know what we need to do now. We need to get onto Bambu Labs, and we need to speak to them about potentially replacing that. The good news is that I have already opened a ticket, and I told Bambu Labs as well that I was going to go and do a live, and we are going to talk about this and see if we could try and prove it off. I might have completely invalidated my warranty now by undoing all the screws that it says void if removed, but at least we've learned something, that actually the AMS system is easier to take apart than I thought it was going to be. Magnets can cause an issue. And what else? Yeah. Any other comments, guys? Anything you would like to see? What does this say? My light on slot 1 is, yeah. Okay, so all of these slots, so 1, 2, and 3 are white. Slot 4 is red. And we know that because it's got a problem with it. It's broken, essentially. So let me pull that back again. So when I try, so like you said before, when I try and load this, okay, what it should do here is it should go, hello, and take it, but it's not. And if I do that on any other slot, certainly if I pull this one out, let's try it on slot 3 here. But now do it on slot 3, and put it to here. It then takes the filament, right? So that's the auto loading process. On slot 4, that doesn't happen because that thing's broken. Oh, I feel so good about myself right now. I hope you do too. I hope you guys have learned something. Any other comments before I think about probably ending the stream? I don't know if there's anything else I can try in order to make slot 4 work. I think probably with that, the motor is burnt out. And the reason for that is that 4-pronged magnet thing that a couple of other people I think have had issues with. The magnet was stuck up the wrong way for whatever reason. Perhaps it's worked itself out there. And I think it's probably burnt out the motor. So that's it, guys. What have we got here? I feel so good. I can push over a toddler. Okay, James, thanks for that. And Theodore Bradley says, cheers. All right, guys. Well, look, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I thought that was going to be far worse than it was. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Hopefully this might have helped you out in some way, shape or form. At least it's given you the internals of what the AMS system is all about from Bambu Labs. Thank you again for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye for now. Hang on, I'll play my outro as well. Here we go.
You are watching a master at work.